She walked 12 miles to thank the bikers who saved her mom. Their reaction left everyone in tears. In the blistering heat of an Arizona summer, where the sun scorches the earth and mirages dance on the horizon, one little girl's courage would rewrite the story of an entire town. Her name was Ruby Wheeler, just 8 years old, with wide brown eyes that held more wisdom than most adults. And what she did next would echo far beyond the dusty roads of her small desert community. It all began on a sweltering Tuesday afternoon. Ruby's mom, Claire, was driving home from her second shift at the diner when her old sedan sputtered and died on Highway 60. Stranded in the middle of nowhere, engine smoking, phone dead, Claire stepped out for help and collapsed from heat exhaustion. That's when fate roared in on chrome wheels and rumbling engines. The Iron Vultures, a motorcycle club known more for their tattoos and leather vests than acts of kindness, happened to be passing by. Most folks in town crossed the street when they saw them coming, but that day they didn't ride past, they stopped. Led by their towering president, Hank Grizzly Malone, the bikers rushed to Claire's side. They gave her water, shaded her with their jackets, called 911, and stayed until the ambulance arrived. Then, without fanfare, they vanished back into the desert wind. But Ruby never forgot. At school, kids whispered that the Iron Vultures were trouble. Even teachers warned students to stay away. But Ruby knew better. She'd seen the gentle way Hank cradled her mom's head. She'd heard how one biker hummed a lullaby while waiting for the paramedics. To her, they weren't scary. They were heroes. And heroes deserved thanks. So, with crayons, construction paper, and a heart full of gratitude, Ruby made a thank you card. On the front, she drew stick figures, 1 labeled Mom, 5 labeled Bikers, and 1 tiny one labeled Me. Inside, in wobbly letters, she wrote, "Thank you for saving my mommy. You are angels with motorcycles." Now came the hard part, finding them. After days of quiet detective work, asking gas station clerks, listening to adult conversations, even tracing a logo she'd glimpsed on a vest, Ruby learned the Iron Vultures had a clubhouse just outside town, 12 miles away. 12 miles through scorching sand, rattlesnake territory, and unrelenting sun. She packed a backpack, her card, a half-empty water bottle, peanut butter crackers, and her lucky rabbit's foot. At dawn, while Claire slept, Ruby slipped out, leaving a note on the kitchen table. "Gone to say thank you. Be back soon. Love, Ruby." By mid-morning, Claire woke to silence and panic. She called the police. Officers launched a search, but the desert is vast and time was running out. Meanwhile, Ruby trudged on. Blisters formed on her feet. Her throat burned. Twice she sat under mesquite trees, gulping warm water, whispering, "Just a little farther." She thought of her mom's smile, of Hank's rough hands being so gentle, and kept walking. At 3:17 p.m., sun-bleached and trembling, Ruby reached a chain-link fence with a faded sign, "Iron Vultures MC. Keep out." She pushed the gate open. Inside, the bikers were gathered around a grill, laughing over burgers, when the clubhouse door creaked. They turned and froze. There stood a tiny girl, barefoot, sunburned, lips cracked, holding a crumpled piece of paper like it was the Holy Grail. Hank dropped his tongs and rushed forward just as Ruby's knees buckled. He caught her in his arms, this man with a skull tattoo and a voice like gravel, and for the first time in decades, tears filled his eyes. I made this for you," Ruby whispered, pressing the card into his calloused hand. He opened it, read it, and then, right there in front of his brothers, the toughest man in 3 counties broke down sobbing. One by one, the Iron Vultures knelt beside her, not as outlaws, but as men humbled by pure, unwavering faith. News of Ruby's journey spread like wildfire. Local news vans rolled in. Neighbors who once feared the club brought casseroles and apologies. Donations poured in, not just for the bikers, but for a new initiative they launched, the Desert Guardian Fund, offering free roadside aid to stranded travelers. But the real miracle wasn't the headlines, it was the change in hearts. Ruby and Claire started joining the Iron Vultures at community cleanups. Hank became a regular at Ruby's school plays, sitting in the back row with a bouquet of wildflowers. The club even sponsored a scholarship in Claire's name for single moms pursuing nursing degrees. Years later, at a town hall meeting about youth outreach, 12-year-old Ruby stood at the mic and said, "People judge books by their covers, but sometimes the scariest-looking books have the kindest stories inside." The room erupted in applause, and in the front row, 6 burly men in leather vests wiped their eyes again. Because Ruby didn't just walk 12 miles to say thank you. She walked 12 miles to remind us all, kindness wears many faces, and sometimes it rides a Harley. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that hope walks in small shoes and that second chances can roar in on 2 wheels, then please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Story Tales. Your support helps us bring more real-life tales of courage, compassion, and redemption to millions around the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? Let's fill this comment section with love from every corner of the globe. Thanks for watching.